Tapas, coming to you, you're standing outside the Calcutta High Court where the high profile and a very firing hearing, I must say, is going on. The two counsels have been battling it out from mic not working to who's going to speak first. Tell us what's happening there.
Well, it's a heated argument that it started all at Justice Shubhra Ghosh's court, and primarily the maintainability is what the union government and the Enforcement Directorate was raising at the first place. And on the second, they have also requested to the court that since a similar petition have been filed before the Supreme Court, henceforth the court must give time until it is heard at the Supreme Court. However, any date have not been fixed as of now. On the other hand, the Trinamool Congress claims what the political narrative was said by Mamata Banerjee from the day one, that it was a political part of a political vendetta, and it was it was basically the Enforcement Directorate was working on behest of some identity in order to grab all the secret documents pertaining to the Trinamool Congress party. Henceforth, they clearly shows that how the Trinamool party was victimized. But overall, as of now, in giving a procedural loopholes, the Enforcement Directorate is time and again requesting the court not to hear this matter at this juncture and wait till the matter is heard before the Supreme Court. But apparently it seems that as of now the justice is hearing both the sides at the moment. It remains to be seen what transpired at the end of the hearing. But both the parties are putting their facts very clear in front of the court that why they are in the court at this moment. But Enforcement Directorate categorically stated that if Pratik Jain's house was raided, he should have been the person who would have filed the petition, but instead of him, someone else have filed the petition. And when the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee was present in that raid and she took off all those articles from the possession of the Enforcement Directorate, why not make Mamata Banerjee a party to this case? So this is the crux of the matter. The Trinamool Congress is playing the victim card, that they have set the narrative the worst place. On the other hand, the Enforcement Directorate is trying to project that everything that was done was was according to the charter laid down. And on the other hand, they are also requesting the court time and again to delay the hearing process at least till the time it is heard at the Supreme Court, as a similar petition have been filed before the Apex Court. Back to you.
Right, Tapas. Also joining us is India Today's Indrajeet Kundu. Indrajeet, you know, while this battle is being fought in the court, there is a political battle also associated with, there is also a federal battle associated with it. So do try and give us a context as to how it matters politically, what's happening in the court.
Well, very, very consequential hearing taking place before the Calcutta High Court. Remember, while the Calcutta High Court hears the matter today, next Monday is when the Supreme Court is supposed to take the matter up. Now, as you said, there are two-pronged battle that we are witnessing between the Trinamool Congress and the government in West Bengal and the BJP at the center. One, of course, is the legal battle before the courts today. And as the ASG was arguing on behalf of the Enforcement Directorate as well as the Union of India's counsel, both they were saying that there is a question on the maintainability of the Trinamool Congress's petition. Remember, the ED raids were conducted at a private company's office, I-PAC, and the residence of one of its directors, Pratik Jain. In court today, the government of India as well as the Enforcement Directorate is questioning why is it that the Trinamool Congress has come to court rather than Pratik Jain himself or his own organization, the I-PAC. So they are questioning the maintainability. They have also said that unless West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is made party to the case, this case cannot be heard. There is the maintainability of the case stands questioned right now because they're saying the Enforcement Directorate has not seized any data, any document right now. They have gone on record to say that in court. They're saying it is Mamata Banerjee, the West Bengal Chief Minister, who actually snatched and illegally took away the data and files from there. And she is in illegal possession of these documents, and therefore she needs to be made party to this entire case. The Trinamool on its part is saying that their fundamental rights have been infringed with. It is their party's political data that have been stolen by the Enforcement Directorate. So the matter stays there at this point in time. Even as we speak, the hearing is underway and the court will have to decide whether it will continue to entertain the petition or adjourn, because the Enforcement Directorate initially they sought an adjournment to this entire hearing, saying that the matter is seized, the Supreme Court is seized of the matter, and since the apex court would hear this case, therefore the Calcutta High Court should not hear it. As far as the political aspect is concerned, of course, the Trinamool Congress is trying to set the narrative so that they are the victims out here, that the I-PAC is an extension of the Trinamool Congress's political operations, that just before the elections, their political data and their blueprint is being snatched and illegally taken away by the central government using, or the BJP, using the Enforcement Directorate. Now, the counsel who appeared for the union government, he was reading out the petition of the Trinamool Congress itself, and he has made the argument that the Trinamool Congress in their petition has continuously cited election, and therefore the Election Commission should also make party to this case. The Trinamool on its part says that their own data has been stolen. That is the allegation that they have put before the court, and the court is hearing the matter. So the Trinamool trying to set a different narrative, and the narrative that they want to set, with Mamata Banerjee hitting the street and protesting and playing the victim card, the Trinamool seem to be giving that same logic in their petition and before the court. Back to you.
Right, Indrajeet. And Nalini continues to be with us from the newsroom, and also Tapas Gupta, who's outside the Kolkata High Court where the hearing is going on. Nalini, Indrajeet kind of put the context to the entire thing, making us understand what are the submissions being given by the ED and about the fact whether Mamata Banerjee should be brought in, or is it TMC which has the right to come to the court. But do try and explain to us what ED really wants. What is it ED wants, and why has it gone to court?
Well, Anjali, if we put it simply, I think what it seems like from the arguments being made by the Additional Solicitor General is that ED does not want a hearing to happen today before the Calcutta High Court. That is essentially why in the beginning they'd asked for an adjournment. That adjournment was not granted. They'd laid out certain grounds on which they want an adjournment. They'd said that they'd already moved the Supreme Court, that it's not going to be proper for the High Court to take up the matter when the petition is already pending in the Supreme Court. But remember, there's no clarity on when the Supreme Court will take up ED's petition. The second thing that they said is that they want to challenge the maintainability of the plea that has been filed by the TMC itself, which means that they want to challenge it legally, saying that the TMC petition should not even be taken up for hearing because it's not maintainable before a court of law. But that chance they were not being allowed to do, so they are doing this now essentially through oral arguments, but they are poking procedural holes in the case of TMC, trying to ensure that the matter is not taken up for hearing on merits itself. How is the ED doing that? Anjali, ED is essentially saying that number one, the parties that have been made parties to the case by the TMC have not been done properly. Because one, if the TMC is alleging that their electoral data has been stolen, then the Election Commission of India should have been made a party, like Indrajeet was also talking about right now. Second thing that they are saying is that Mamata Banerjee, in her individual capacity, should be made a party to the case, not as a Chief Minister of West Bengal, not as a head of the West Bengal government, but as an individual, because she is the one who was present on the ground during the raid that was being conducted at the I-PAC office, and she is the one who has documents in her possession illegally. She is the one who has committed an offense. So it's important that Mamata Banerjee as an individual is reined in as a party to the case. The third thing that they're saying is that the affidavit which has been attached by the TMC as a part of their petition is a false affidavit. It cannot be relied on. There's a very technical and procedural point that is being made by the ED. They're saying that the affidavit cannot be relied on because the person who signed off on the affidavit that's part of the petition is a person who was not even present on the ground at the time when the raid was happening. Ideally, this is a petition that should have been signed off by Mamata Banerjee, is what ED is saying, because she was the one who was on the ground. Or even more ideally, it should have been filed by Pratik Jain, which has not been done in this case. Some other third person has filed the affidavit. So on these procedural technical grounds, ED is trying to dismantle TMC's case and trying to ensure that no hearing happens at least before the Calcutta High Court for now.
Right. Tapas, I'm coming to you. You're present outside the court where the hearing is happening, but it seems that the ASG again and again is insisting on the fact that there should be an adjournment.
Well, yes, absolutely. From the very first time when the argument it all began, the ASG requested the court that they should not be heard at the Calcutta High Court, since the Enforcement Directorate have already filed a similar petition before the Supreme Court, which is due to be hearing. As Nalini said, that no time frame or a date has been given by the apex court as of now. But giving a procedural loopholes before the court, the Union Government of India or the ED is trying to make a point that the petition that have been filed before the court here in Calcutta High Court is not maintainable in nature. The person who filed the petition do not have any connection with the case or the raid. He wasn't even present there at that point in time. The persons who were present was Mamata, Banerjee, and the person whose house was raided was Pratik Jain. Either of them could have been the petitioner. And since the Trinamool Congress is pleading all about electoral politics and electoral secrecy, then is election commission, why not the election commission be made a party to this? And why not Mamata Banerjee, not as a chief minister, but as an individual who was present in that very scene, who took away some documents from, as ED claims, from their possession? Why not she become made a party to this? So every tactics that is possible is being undertaken by the Union Government's counsel in order to delay the procedure. But it's at this moment, it's oral argument that's going on at this moment, and it remains to be seen what court observes at the end of the hearing. But primarily what the Enforcement Directorate wanted, that this hearing should not even initiate at the Calcutta High Court, was turned down, and the hearing procedure is continuing as we speak. Back to you.